Hi, it's Lynn Shuck with Healing and Balance, and today you need a yoga belt or a strap. It needs to be pretty long, something that you could get your arms fully extended. If you don't have an actual yoga belt or strap, then like the belt, a sash that would tie a bathrobe would work, something that's not stretchy, and again, that you could get a full arm's length. So we're going to do different things that create a tensile load where you're pulling your hands apart from each other versus pressing your hands into a block. I have a whole other video of doing that. So we're taking this belt and I have my hands fairly wide apart because I have very tight shoulders. You might be able to do this with your hands much closer together. Mine, I know it's going to be pretty wide because I know my shoulders. So I'm standing with my feet parallel, my weight on my feet, pressing down into those legs so they're holding me up. And I'm going to lift my arms up and then try and take them back behind my body. Now, what you'll notice is I'm not bending my elbows. I'm trying not to arch my body to take this back. I'm trying to keep my ribs in, and I'm trying to keep my head still. If I take my hands closer together, this is what happens. I take one arm down and then the other, or you just saw it, I have to bend my elbows or I have to arch. So I want to have my arms far enough apart that I can do this. And because mine are pretty far apart, that belt just clears my head. And just moving slowly back and forth between the two, controlling for those additional movements, not allowing the ribs to fly forward, not allowing the head to do anything interesting like that. That's one. So we're going to keep the arms apart and we're going to tighten that up. So all I did was I rolled my hands in one time. I made a loop so it brought it in just a little tighter. I'm going to take the arms up overhead now. And this time what I'm going to try and do is bring the belt behind my head, bending the elbows, and take it back up. Now you notice I said go behind the head, but I didn't. I just make it down to my head, just to my head and back up, because I have very tight shoulders. The only way I can get it back behind my head is to take my head forward. I'm not going any further. So move where you can. Elbows bend as you take that belt back and back up. This is a lot of work. It doesn't look like much, but I'm keeping this gentle tension on the belt, not huge, just a little so it never goes slack, and then we'll come down. So we're going to keep the arms, actually I'll go back to that original arm distance, maybe a little wider, right? We're going to take the arms up. I'm going to take the arms over to one side. So one arm up, one arm down. The arm that's down, I'm going to reach it behind me. I've got my palm facing the floor. I'll get closer to the camera so you can see that. Palm facing the floor, palm facing the ceiling. And I'm going to try and keep my arms straight and pull my arms away from each other. That's it. That's the whole thing. Don't let those ribs fly forward. Pull those ribs in. Don't let your head fly forward. We're going to take the arms up. We're going to go over to the other side. And then you're going to take that arm behind you, so you're pushing down behind you and up toward the ceiling at the same time, creating some tension, keeping the ribs in. Cool. So those are some very specific, just for the shoulders things. But we could also take this belt and add it to some poses where we don't normally use a belt, just to wake them up a little bit. You could do this in front warrior. I'm going to do it in side warrior simply so I can make sure I stay in the camera. I can see it. And I folded my belt in half mostly so you don't have a lot of strap hanging in the way while you're trying to see what I'm doing. I'm going to put my hands so that if I have the belt in front of me, the backs of my hands are facing forward. I'm holding the belt taut. I don't want it to go slack. And it's only about shoulder width, right? I'm not real wide here. I'm going to set up for side warrior, warrior 2, press down into my feet, press my toes into the ground, and I'm going to take the arms up. I'm going to reach my hands toward the ceiling, and then I'm going to tip into side extension, Utthita Parshva, and I am now pushing the belt away from my back foot. And I have that little bit of tension. I want to watch and see, can I make my chest face the wall instead of the floor? And then I'm going to push up to the ceiling and come up out of it, bring the arms down. We'll set up on the second side. Doesn't look like it's that much harder, but it's a very different pose, just this subtle change from having your arms extended out to the side. We bend the front knee, we press into the feet, we lift up through the head. We're going to take the arms up overhead, and we go over to the side. Again, the arms are straight. There's tension here. I want to make sure my chest is facing the wall, not the floor. And I am pushing my hands away from my back foot. One of the things you want to watch here is that you don't take your hands past your head, nor are you letting your head rest on your arms. Your arms are on either side of your head, just like they were when your arms are up overhead. And come out of it. Play with that. See what that does. You could try using a belt, working in a balance like Warrior 3, setting up and then pushing the belt away from your hand. Sometimes because the instruction is lace the fingers, if you have tight shoulders, it's hard to lace the fingers and find that extension, but pushing that belt might do it. So that's just a handful of things you can do with a belt while you're in a yoga class or in your own yoga practice. Screw around with it. Find other places you can play with it. I have tons. I just wanted to give you a little sampling. So grab a belt and go.